Chief Prelate of the Asgiri chapter of the Siam sect, the most venerable Udugama Sri Buddharakita Thera, states that everyone should come together to abolish the provincial council system. The Chief Prelate notes, however, that although the need for everyone to come together was highlighted on numerous occasions, no one had responded to it.
The National Collective for Abolishing of the Provincial Council System called on the Chief Prelate of the Asgiri chapter of the Siam sect at the Asgiri Mahavihare today. The collective had urged the Chief Prelate to extend his support to abolish the provincial council system. Police powers and land powers cannot be granted to the northeast alone. If our small country is divided into 9 parts, and if power is granted to these parts, then what power will be left with the central government? It should be cancelled. It should be abolished. We do not need to be afraid of anyone, not even India. We should exercise our powers and abolish it. The Chief Prelate disapproved of the current political system in the country. There is a central government, a provincial council system, a Pradesh Sabha system and a municipal council system. But our country cannot develop because none of these politicians or institutions do any work. A just individual cannot even approach it. We remain silent without speaking about politics or how the country is governed. It is wrong to speak something good, and if one speaks about a wrong, one is reprimanded. The National Collective for Abolishing of the Provincial Council System also called on the Chief Prelate of the Malvar chapter of the Siam sect. It should be fair by others. It cannot be completely abolished. On one hand, they say there are no minorities and that everyone is Sri Lankan. I do not understand.
The petition filed by Negombo resident S.M. Padmapriya Sirivardhana against the failure to legitimately include the 13th Amendment to the Constitution was taken up in the Supreme Court today. The hearing was presided by a bench comprising of Chief Justice Mohan Piris and Justices Priyasad Dep and Eva Vanasundara.
The Attorney General, Speaker Chama Rajapaksa and Minister of Local Government and Provincial Councils A.H.M. Ataula have been cited as respondents in this petition. The petitioner notes that although the Supreme Court at the time had determined that prior to being included in the Constitution, the 13th Amendment must be subject to a referendum and the views of the public inquired into, the then government did not follow this instruction. The petition seeks the repeal of the 13th Amendment to the Constitution on the grounds that it was passed into law owing to pressure exerted by India and that the provincial councils established by it will cause the country to lose its unitary state. The petitioner was represented in court by attorneys at law P. Gunaratna and Sam Singha. Hearings of the petition have been postponed to the 1st of October.
Several political parties operating in the north reiterate on the need for a peaceful approach to the Northern Provincial Council if the rights of the Tamil people are to be won. Political party representatives of the Northern Province echoed this sentiment at a function held in Vaunia today.
The People's Liberation Organization of Tamil Eelam, or PLOT, organized a ceremony to commemorate its heroes. The ceremony was held yesterday at the Kumar Maheshwaran Memorial Square in Kovilkulam, Vaunia. Representatives of many political parties in the north attended the ceremony. There are no shortcomings in the person selected as the chief ministerial candidate for the Northern Provincial Council. He is educated and talented. Northern Provincial Council elections are being held for the first time. Various factions are paying close attention to the decision of the people in this province, which consists of an 85% Tamil population. Thousands of youngsters and others have sacrificed their lives. Although they have sacrificed their lives for a certain reason, and although the expected goal cannot be reached, an environment should be created for the Tamil people to live freely. It is important that this election has provided an opportunity for us to govern our people. We cannot move forward without peace. Hence, we have to secure our rights through a democratic framework in a balanced political atmosphere. Our hopes will be limited to dreams if we continue to work in disharmony. If this happens, we would become people who hoodwink the Tamil community. We need to be united in politics, may it be locally, in Tamil Nadu in India, or internationally. Thousands of young people are in prison today or have disappeared. This is a time when attempts are made to divide the Tamil people by speaking of granting relief relief. Therefore, we should unite during the northern elections.
வேலை செய்ய வேண்டிய பெரிய பொறுப்பும் கடமையும் இருக்கிறது.
The Northwestern Province is one that has been subject to much discussion in the history of provincial council elections in the country. The upcoming election will be the 6th election for the Northwestern Provincial Council.
As per the provincial council system established in 1988, a 52-member council was established for the Northwestern. Damini Jayavikrama Perera was the first chief minister of the province, while U.M. Premachandra, R.M.R. Nimal Bandara and S.B. Navinna have also served as chief ministers of the province. Atula Vijayasinghe was the chief minister of the recently dissolved 5th Northwestern Provincial Council. The Northwestern Provincial Council election held in 1999 is considered one of the most violent elections in the history of the nation. Following this election, the People's Alliance came into power. The Northwestern Province comprises of the Kurunegala and Puttalam districts and has 1,754,218 voters. 50 councillors are to be elected from both districts for the Provincial Council. The Kurunegala district, which has a total of 1,227,810 voters, will have 34 seats in the council. The Puttalam district, which has 526,408 voters, will have 16 seats in the council. Nominations will be accepted for the Provincial Council election from the 25th of this month to the 1st of August.
Minister of Sports Mahindananda Alutgamage says victory is assured for all provincial councils on the day that the election results will be released. Speaking at a meeting held in Gampola yesterday, the minister said there should be no doubt of victory.
You do not need to have even a thimbleful of doubt regarding this election. If it is assured that the sun will rise tomorrow, then it is assured that we will win the elections in all the provincial councils. The opposition leader will be leading the United National Party. Our president has a very auspicious time indeed. That is why we say in Parliament every day that Ranil Wickremesinghe should forever be the opposition leader. Our president too loves him, though he may not show it. Every day in the morning he calls Ranil and wishes him good morning, asks him if he showered and had a cup of tea, and sends him some fruit, because we want Ranil to remain there forever.
රනිල්ට කතා කරලා කොහමද good morning කියලා උදේ තේ බිව්වද කියලා අහලා නාලද කියලා කෑවද කියලා අහලා නැත්තම් පළතුරු ටිකක් ගවනවා. මොකද හැමදාම රනිල් මහත්තයා ඉන්න ඕනේ අපිට.
Minister of Youth Affairs and Skills Development Dallas Alhab Peruma says that it is bankrupt politicians who construct equations between the 13th Amendment to the Constitution and the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. The minister made this statement at a media briefing held to raise awareness at the school level regarding the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting.
Minister of Education Bandula Gunawardena, Minister of External Affairs Professor G.L. Piris, provincial governors and chief ministers were among those present at this event.
බුන්වත් දේශපාලඥයන් බුන්වත් වූ දේශපාලඥයන් උත්සාහයක් ගන්නවා මේ නොමිනි රාජ්‍ය නායක සමුළුව.
There are some bankrupt politicians who are trying to take the attention being paid to this summit in a different direction. Why are they making this effort? Now Minister G.L. Piris said that this is the first time in 24 years that Asia is getting the opportunity. If we consider ourselves as Sri Lanka, it is the first time that we are getting this opportunity. Thereby we can clearly see that some politicians are trying to raise protest against Sri Lanka and the President Mahinda Rajapaksa chairing and giving leadership to the Commonwealth.
මහින්ද රාජපක්ෂ ජනාධිපතිතුමා ඒ පුටු ඉඳ ගැනීම කියන කාරණේම දේශපාලන ප්‍රතිවිරෝධයන් බවට පත් කරන්න උත්සාහ ගන්නවා.
Minister of External Affairs Professor G.L. Piris says that there is a diplomatic and economic onslaught against Sri Lanka. The minister expressed his views at an event held in Colombo last evening.
The Meet the Minister program, organized by the Organization of Professional Associations, was held in Colombo last evening under the auspices of Minister G.L. Piris.
It is no mean achievement that the next meeting of the Commonwealth Heads of Government is taking place in our country. As you are aware, there was considerable opposition to that. There was considerable opposition. Don't forget that although the war has ended, some of the activities directed against Sri Lanka by elements of the diaspora are continuing very much. What they are trying to do is to isolate Sri Lanka diplomatically and economically. It is a diplomatic and economic onslaught against Sri Lanka.
United Kingdom MPs say the UK government has approved more than 3,000 export licenses for military sales to countries which it believes have questionable records on human rights. The BBC reports that the House of Commons Committee on Arms Export Control says the value of the existing report licenses to the 27 countries in question exceeds the £12 billion. The report of the committee adds that sales to Sri Lanka raises very serious questions.
The chairman of the committee, House of Commons Representative Sir John Stanley, said he was astonished at the scale and value of the licenses. The BBC reported that this includes significant sales to China, Iran and Saudi Arabia. Sir John told the BBC that in his view, the EU arms embargo was not drafted as widely as many people would wish. Arms licenses to Sri Lanka included pistols, small arms ammunition and approval for the sale of 600 assault rifles. According to the BBC, the report concludes, quote, whilst the promotion of arms exports and the upholding of human rights are both legitimate government policies, the government would do well to acknowledge that there are inherent conflict between strongly promoting arms exports to authoritarian regimes while strongly criticizing their lack of human rights at the same time, rather than claiming, as the government continues to do, that these two policies are mutually reinforcing.
You're watching News First. Up next is a newspaper cartoon of the day.